Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. This is CryptoVatsik. Nothing of what you're about to see is considered financial advice, and they're just my opinions. If you do enjoy this content, I'd really appreciate it if you gave this video a like, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for future updates. Let's go. Okay, today I'm going to be covering LRC, Loopring, and we're on the weekly here on Binance. So as we've moved through this bear market, what we're basically doing is we're just going back to previous key areas and we're looking to see those areas hold until they're invalidated. And so we'll just go to the first one here at around 36 cents and change. Okay, we came down to this low. We found support multiple times at this area. Okay, for few weeks here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks kind of thing as support until it was eventually lost, invalidating this key level and then pushing down further. Now, the current key level that we're working on testing right now comes from back here. And so basically this is sitting around just under 20 cents or just at 20 cents. Okay, and so basically we had it from this swing high here, okay, as resistance previously. We had a nice push up, very strong move here, and then it bottomed out at this level again back in July 2021, right here with another test of that capitulation event on this wick right here. And then now it's the third time that we're testing this level all the way since 2020 November. So in my opinion, this level is still valid because we have not broken through. We haven't pierced through it. Okay, we've just basically come down and essentially tested it with this wick here. And then now we're scooping up demand liquidity in this zone currently on the weekly candle that we're working on right now. We do have this high time frame descending channel as well that we've been following quite nicely. Okay, so right here, basically from this high, okay, and then the second high establishing this downward upper band of the range. And then meanwhile, a few tests here at the lower end of the range, okay, and then meanwhile, all this respect of these candles and wicks at the equilibrium in the middle of that range. And so currently just in the lower 50th percentile, still testing this demand zone in green, like I mentioned. So ultimately, if you're a bull, you want to see this green zone hold, ideally on this candle. Closing green would be ideal, and then really a push, a fight to break the equilibrium here, and then possibly a swing high, okay, something like that, swing high into this previous high for a short-term bullish trade. Ultimately, I would expect us to come back down again and test this green zone again in the future or potentially lower because the trend is your friend and the trend is still down. But let's zoom into the daily now and see how it looks. Okay, so a couple things I'm noticing here right off the bat. So we had our previous low back here, okay, which with some consolidation underneath the equilibrium here. Okay, so basically this area, a little bit of bullish consolidation, not much of a push, basically almost a confirmed breakout, but kind of just a failed breakout in my opinion, just because we've really fought to hold this equilibrium with a swing failure pattern here and then just lost it almost immediately. Okay, so the trend was still strong to the downside. However, we have definitely found some sort of temporary bottom for now at this level of support in this demand zone in green, like I mentioned. There's no market structure break at this point, okay, so I would want to see a higher high, okay, in comparison to this lower high here. I want to see that market structure break, and I want to see a retest, and that would be a potential opportunity to go long, and then possibly we sweep the origin of the breakdown from back here, this move, okay, possibly sweep liquidity up there and taking out the void in this big red candle right there. So that would be a potential play. However, I'm not seeing that market structure just yet. I would like to see this first with your risk being below this market structure break and, stop loss down there below the low. If we do not get that and we don't get this market structure break, we continue to follow this trend like that, and we start to consolidate in this demand zone with little reaction and little volume, it would lead me to believe that we're coming further down, likely towards 17 cents, just following the bottom band of this lower band of the downward descending channel here. Let's see if we can find some confluence with that level down there, okay? So there's definitely some areas in here that I'd be looking at. First one right here, okay, we had this little consolidation, a bit of a breakdown. So that's the origin of the breakdown there that led to this low. And then once it was reclaimed, okay, so from right there, if you can see, there's basically the origin of the breakdown here, okay, made a new low, and then ultimately reclaimed it right here with a nice bullish retest, and then it was up. So that's a key area right there, and that lines up with just under 17 cents. Okay, and then there's obviously this low as well that I'd be looking at. So let's go back and see how those line up. Okay, so we've got that area, like I said. If we do drop further down, which I think will happen eventually, it's just a matter if we're going to see some upside first or not. But I think, yeah, so basically there you go, right? Downward sloping channel, the bottom band here. Okay, if we lose green, I think we head down to this level just under 17 cents. And then we'll have to see what it looks like if we do bottom somewhere down there, and then we get a push up to the EQ again, to be determined, right? So we'll trade it once we see price move that direction. But until then, I think there's a potential for some more upside. And let's zoom into the 4-hour, drill into the lower time frame here a bit more. Okay, so there's just nothing in here yet that I'm seeing that I would like to see to take along. Really just following this trend. Okay, we've had a nice push up here with this green candle. Okay, and people are seeing green today. However, we're simply sweeping liquidity up here. Okay, we're simply just all these sweeps coming back up, sweeping the highs, making a new low, sweeping the highs, making a new low. Okay, sweeping the highs, making a new low. And now we're just ultimately sweeping that high again. I would start to get interested if we can cleanly break out of this downward sloping range on the 4-hour here. Okay, if we can have a clean break of this range and reclaim this supply level up here at just over 20 cents, okay, right here, and we can retest that area, then I'll start to get interested, as that's now made a higher high in comparison to these lower highs. Okay, so I would like to see that. Then we can start talking about some more upside. Price is starting to compress in this overall area. We are seeing a little bit of compression. Okay, so I would expect come Monday open that we'll start to see some more volatility. As usual for now, it's just weekend chop. Okay, let's go into the 1-hour. It's always good to start high time frame and then zoom in lower time frame to drill into those key areas on the high time frame that you found, and then start to drill into positioning yourself on the lower time frames, in my opinion. Okay, so you've seen I've drawn out kind of what I would like to see from the bullish side, but now we can start to look at drilling into the short side of things, right? So since we're respecting this trend so well, it's a good opportunity to start to look for shorts. We've essentially swept these lows. Okay, so when we came down, we swept this low. We've taken out those stops, taken out liquidity. We retested almost the 618 level. Okay, right here on the fib of this overall leg from the low to the high. Okay, and so now if you're looking for a short, I'd basically be looking currently where we're sitting pretty soon, right? So this is not a bad area to assume a position for the short side, ultimately with your stop loss above the previous high. However, since we've already swept these lows, your target would have to be this low down here. Okay, basically a sweep of this low. So you get something like this. Okay, you get a lower high, you short that bearish retest. Okay, and then you target the low down here around just under just 19 cents and 19.7 right there. The reason why I'd be targeting this low is because you have no other area of consolidation with this price action. Okay, you have no area of consolidation or established support. You just have this low to work with. So your assumption is that we would take out this low, take out these stops, this liquidity on this bounce, and you head down to the demand down here, especially given this wick. I wouldn't be targeting lower. I would not be targeting my short on this trade lower than this low, because you'd be assuming that this level would be invalidated. And this wick down here has shown obviously lots of demand in that area still. So likely we'd bounce off of that level, in my opinion. So I wouldn't just be assuming new lows on a short-term trade like this, especially given the high time frame compression and consolidation that we are seeing currently in here. All it would take is for a quick sharp move to the upside to take out all of this liquidity up here. Okay, so there's probably shorts within this area. You run those stops, take them all out, and then you start to see a nice push to the upside pretty quickly, sweeping these highs and then possibly this area of consolidation up here, like I said, if we do start to break this trend, right? So it wouldn't take much for that to flip. So you just got to keep in mind the high time frame levels that we're dealing with when you start looking at where we are on the chart. You got to be careful that we're getting into these areas of demand where there'll be some pretty powerful short squeezes. Currently, my bias is to the downside. I think that with this move currently that we're seeing, we're really fighting to struggle to get above this trend. And we've got a large wick here. Okay, we're pushing up a little bit more on these next two candles. So my expectation would be further to the downside, at least testing this low again, and then really just watching this low overall. All right, let's just go to the 4 hour again here. So yeah, like I said, so we're still seeing that price compression, okay, really consolidating under this level. I'm not sure if it breaks up or breaks down. Like I said, my bias is to the downside still. But just got to really play it as you see fit and have those invalidation levels and stay objective. Ultimately, you can just go back and see, what price has been doing, right? So basically, we'll have a dump, okay? We'll have a dump, we'll have some consolidation, okay? Maybe a push running the supply, sweeping the high and the liquidity up there. And then ultimately just further dump, right? So then we get back down, dump, okay, consolidation, maybe a push high. This was a very huge push up here, up to these highs, and then further dump, right? New low, consolidation again, right? Right in here, dump, and then ultimately just waiting to see if we are going to see that push again, run some stops, and then ultimately dump further. So that's the trend still for now until proven otherwise, and we have to play it that way until the trend shifts. So thanks so much for joining, you guys. I hope you found this video helpful, and hopefully it helps your trading. And if you're interested in Loopring, thanks for joining again. I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, if you do like this content, please give the video a like, and don't forget to subscribe. And you can always follow me on Twitter at CryptoVatsik as well. See you on the next one. Cheers.